out of executive session. At 9:15, no action is taken. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. There is no general assistance of claims today, nor are there any funding transfers needed. Next up, we will meet with Glenwood Telecommunication, Nebraska Broadband Bridge Grant Program. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. I'm going to send this down the line. If everybody wants to take one, just pass it on.
We'll just get your names from you before you get good and going, please.
Sure. I'm Allison Fritchie with Glenwood Telecommunications, Sales Engineer, Public Relations, and this is Jennifer Raymond, Director of Business Development. So just to start out today, from Glenwood, we're so thankful for your time, and I think it would be, since the last time I was here was in June of last year, my colleague Aaron, Mr. Ziegler was here at that time, so from Glenwood, just our sincere condolences and sympathies in his passing, and in the time I did get to speak with him, he seemed very much, had a lot of great intentions for the county and just was a very compassionate man, so our sympathies with that. And speaking of being here on June 13th of last year, we were here at that time to seek your support from the county officials as we pursued a grant to expand fiber infrastructure into a part of rural York County. And we are really excited to tell you today that we were awarded that grant. So the 53 locations that you will see on that map will now in the very near future have an opportunity to have the best internet services and fiber optic to the premise services that they have not had to date. So we are very excited for that coming up. And a common question now is, what does that look like? So when the grant was awarded to us, it was awarded on January 9th, and Glenwood has 18 months to complete that project. So we will be communicating with those 53 locations to educate and then discuss what is coming. And then also we will be keeping you up to date as county officials on the progress. And then as this goes into the future, it will be Glenwood's responsibility to maintain that infrastructure and then also continue to prove to the government that we are providing what we said we would provide. So that is very exciting, and we could not have done it without your letter of support, which I know we didn't give you a ton of time to do. So thank you for supporting that and seeing the value in that. Any questions on that?
No, I think actually, didn't they, when we did do it right away, but then they held it up for another like 30 days or something like that. So we come in under the wire just
Yes,
fine.
exactly, yeah, and that's why we actually found out here just in January versus December as far as the original schedule.
Okay.
And I guess in regards to, like Allison mentioned, I believe 18 months to complete this project. Glenwood was successful in all of our 5 grant applications. So again, the plan at this point is pretty much to try to get all the projects working all at one time in regards to contractors and so forth. So we're currently at the stage of the actual network itself has already been designed. So now we will be soliciting contractors to actually do the project for us. What marketing has planned is, of course, we will, as Allison had mentioned, communicate actually with these individuals that now are going to have fiber accessibility, but we will be putting out a press release. I will probably contact you to see if you would like to maybe add a line or two with the press release and so forth, but we'd also like to maybe have a little ceremony, like maybe a groundbreaking, just to, I guess, again, start off the project and so forth. So again, we'll definitely keep you in the loop in regards to the timing and all this.
So any questions on that grant that we received? Okay, well, coming up, there will be a round 4 of the Nebraska Broadband Bridge Grant Program. So, it is possible that we may be asking to come back to discuss some future plans with that as well. If that's something that would be interesting to you as a county.
I think it'd be, as we talked, Jennifer, I believe,
Yes,
me and you talked a couple weeks ago. I think York County would be interested in not only signing a letter of intent, but participating with this to continue to go throughout York County with broadband and try to get our rural residents as much as we can. As you know, we have the ARPA funds that we still have, and we have to have them guided in a certain direction by the end of this year. And so that would be a perfect opportunity for some of those funds if we could look at that. And I think that talking with us or getting us going on that. When is that grant application? Is that the same time frame again, like June?
Yeah, we presume it'll open up, and again, typically there's a 3 to 4 week, and it closes there in June. Again, the announcement is typically the award is in December, so we would know in regards to the ARPA funds and so forth. But with that piece of it, again, with your consideration of contributing financially with the ARPA funds, we'll probably want to start working with you guys sooner than later in regards to if you've got any areas that you want to identify, or do we want to expand off just as what we currently have and so forth. So I think the sooner we might want to start our discussion, again, identifying some areas within the county that you might have preference on as well.
Well, and as I seen the list of what you had, the 5 you had awarded, you guys are going to be across the state. You got Fillmore, Thayer County,
Exactly.
Llewellyn Rural, which is taking you way out west, and Holdridge, and us. So you will be across the state.
Exactly.
So I think, and the fact that you came forward to us and wanted to service this part of the county already, I think it's a great idea to continue that partnership and see what we can do and what type of money we think it will take. Our project was awarded $639,000, I believe, and you guys were chipping in so much. But a couple of the other ones I see were like $1.3 million and over the $1 million mark.
Yes.
On those particular projects, are you covering a much greater area of, for instance, I think the one was Thayer County, right, that was much bigger?
Biggest one was probably, their smallest one is there in Holdridge and so forth. But I would say the roughly the 50 count, anywhere from 50 maybe to 60 locations with all of our other, I guess I would say between York, Fillmore, and Thayer County are probably the same number-wise there. I believe the count in the Garden County area out by Llewellyn was maybe 25, and then 12 locations in Phelps County. So again, this is probably the average between the 3 counties that we're working with. So,
And in York County, we're talking about direct bury, right? We're burying
correct.
everything.
Yes.
Early on, when there was communications between our rural public and NPPD and us and a couple other counties, we were talking about aerial on some of those to get going a little bit further and a little less cost. Is that something that you guys get into too?
We have aerial within communities that we're serving, such as Superior, Hebron, Shipley, and Geneva. Definitely in the rural, in these situations, burying is probably of course, it's more expensive, of course, but again, it's going to be more in regards to the infrastructure itself. Here in Nebraska with the winds, you name it and so forth, there's just a lot of the issues. There could be issues with burial and so forth. So we do prefer to bury.
Okay.
Again, that's actually even going to extend the longevity of the network and so forth. So it's more expensive, but it is probably the better way and futuristic for the network itself
Okay.
as we move down the road. So.
You guys have anything else that you'd like to?
Yeah, I think you've touched on
I think it's a
everything,
great
and I
idea.
think we want to keep moving forward. So.
Again, like Allison said, we'll keep you in the loop. Again, start maybe communicating with you in regards to potential for the next round of the bridge grant. Because again, just as a reminder, they did change that this last year. It's a 75-25 situation. So again, when we stay in the rural, any contributed monies will actually be it used to be a 50-50, but now it goes to a 75-25 when we stay in the rural.
And just so everybody knows, we're entering the county from Fillmore County, and we are, 3-4 miles off of Highway 81 there, and kind of coming straight north up into the Sachs Lake area, and that's where we pick up a lot of our homes in that area, and then back towards McCool too. So it kind of stops there in that general vicinity, but continuing on would be great.
And just as a reminder, again, all these locations are unserved. where they can possibly receive up to 25 meg download and 3 meg upload. So again, that's unserved. All of our applications that we submitted for unserved locations, because again, that's been a priority of the Nebraska Public Service Commission and the FCC. So again, that's another reason we feel that we were successful in our applications and so forth. So again, when we talk grants, that's going to be that first priority, especially through the Nebraska Broadband Department. So again, those are going to be some things that we're going to be looking at when we look at areas. Again, who can get what speeds and so forth.
Were those uncontested?
No, we were, yes, they were uncontested. Yeah, they were not challenged whatsoever.
Gentlemen, look forward to dealing with you some more. You will be reaching out to us then in the near future?
Yes, yeah. And whether we're reaching out or email and all that kind of stuff, again, we don't want to be too much of a hindrance, but again, we like to keep you involved again. So you're aware when you start receiving questions from people that are seeing us out and so forth, we want to make sure that you have the right information so you can answer those.
Well, I think it'd be a great idea to have the talks about what we may be looking at, so we can try to formulate
Yep.
what we're doing too.
Right.
Seeing as how at the end of the year will come a lot quicker than what we think. So, yes, look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're good.
Okay, next up, we think we got time before 9:30. Discuss an act on the annual weed report. Mitch? Morning, Mitch.
Good morning, everybody. I'm the weed superintendent for York County, and these are annual reports that I have to do every year to submit to you guys to the state, declaring the action that I've done this previous year and the following year. So, I guess just one thing, like infestations were down again this year. There was some that stayed the same, but for the most part, overall, manifestations were down, mainly because of the burning weather we had. Not much had a chance to grow till midsummer, and then started to come on, and so it just kind of grew from there. And then fall come, and it was kind of dry again, so I sent out about 10 notices, and then 2 special notices to some people who were visual, not very good controlling their weeds, so I had to deal with them a lot. So, but other than that, it was probably a normal year, everything. So,
Okay.
have any questions?
Yeah, last year at this time, unfortunately, we were dealing with the same thing, being short one commissioner, and you'd reached out to them again to say that once we got that filled, then that we'd get their name incorporated into
Sure,
the
yeah.
next report.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to submit that to like state and make sure we got enough commissioners.
Okay. Any questions of Mitch this morning while he's here?
Well, my address is wrong and my phone numbers should be changed, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll want to get that changed. Everybody can look at, what page is that on?
Page,
11, maybe?
page 11 or
Is that on
12.
this one?
Yes.
Say your address and your phone number, Tom?
Yes, my address is box 7 instead of 216 Road 5.
Box what now?
Box 7.
Box 7, Road 216?
No, just box 7.
Oh, box 7.
No, that's it. That's my mailing address. It's all, or do you need my physical address?
No, just.
Ask for mailing, looks like.
Yeah, just box 7.
Okay. And your phone number?
That is 366-4201.
4201?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Looks right.
We'll get those changes made then, Mitch, and then we can sign it once they're
Okay.
made.
I'll try to get that done today.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mitch. Okay.
Do we need
to
an-
discuss an act on that, so.
Do you want-
This is
yeah.
resolution at the very back that he has on there, so.
Okay. Yep. Yep, it's the very back page.
Oh, yeah.
So
we need a-
resolution.
Motion to adopt a resolution.
Yep, with the changes.
for signature after changes.
That motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yeah.
Plymouth.
Yes. Okay, it is 9:31, so at this time we will take a recess from Board of Commissioners meeting and move to Board of Equalization. And roll call, please.
Brooks.
Here.
Bear.
Here.
Sykes.
Here.
And Oakham.
Here, open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers. In the hallway outside of our chambers is also on our website. Proof of publication was in the News Times once again January 19th and on our website. Next up, we need to review and approve the minutes of our January 9th Board of Equalization meeting.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Whichever you give it to. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Brooks.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Yes, and adopt today's agenda, gentlemen.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Oakham.
Yes. Kurt.
Good morning.
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 Kurt Bolger, York County Assessor. We have a couple tax list corrections here. Both of these parcels were combined into another one, and they should have been retired at that time, and they weren't. So we did CTL here in November, pushed over to the treasurer's office and shouldn't have. So those just need to be canceled, and that'll take care of that.
Okay.
Motion to approve tax roll corrections.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
And Oakham.
Yes. Next.
This next one, I got a handout for you here.
Take one.
So, this is something we haven't done before, and a lot of counties haven't done before, because people just aren't really aware of it. There's these things called Section 42 housing. Some counties have them, some don't. We have a number of them here in York County. Notably, the ones we're talking about here are the Yorktown Estates that are over, kind of by the ballpark area, over there. And what happens is these projects, they apply to the state, they send in their income and expense documents to the state. State goes over them, makes sure that they qualify for it. The state being Department of Revenue. They send those out to the counties then, and then I take those numbers and I plug them into a spreadsheet, and then there's a rent restricted committee that meets a couple times a year, and annually they decide on a cap rate that we use to determine some of these values as well. So we take that information, plug it all in. What I found out when I got done with plugging all that information in, with the Yorktown Estates, there's Yorktown Estates and there's Yorktown Estates 2. Yorktown Estates, because their net operating income was zero or was a negative number, I would then be required to set the value for all of those 18 units at $0, which I kind of had a problem with, because these are things, if you look at that map there, the Yorktown Estates are in green, the Yorktown Estates 2 are in blue. They were built in 2007 and 2009. There's more than no value on those units there. They're all pretty much the same layout, exact same square footage, just 2-year age difference in those. Which brings me here today. State law allows the Board of Equalization to petition Turk to use a different method of valuation for these projects. That's not the income approach is what we use on them. You guys have until January 31st to make that petition to Turk. We don't have to have decided right now what method we want to use. So that gives us a little time to determine what method we want to use, but I think we need to use a different one, because I just don't feel comfortable putting a zero value on these properties. And I get that they meet the qualifications for rent restricted, but we have other rent restricted housing in this county that's, they're I don't have a problem with how their valuations came out. So
Kurt, some history on these. Are these the ones that have taken us to Turk before?
There was one, yes, that did.
Because
Like
we
right
had
when
them
I started
valued.
last year, I think, and so I think we did settle that one. I don't know how my predecessor figured those, I couldn't figure out how, and so I just used this method. I borrowed from another couple other county assessors. And, so using that method, then we came to an agreement with Yorktown Estates at that time to settle that case.
Okay.
But yes, they have protested in the past.
Right. Because we did not use I don't think we used a income-based value. I think she was using a structural or whatever you want to call it. value
Right,
to
and
them.
there's a procedure, like, for this, which, yeah, they probably got her on she probably could have had she gone through this
Mhm.
procedure, so.
Okay. So your recommendation is that we sign a letter that is presented in front of us, or is this
This is my letter
it?
to you, this is my letter to you. I will help draft a letter that you guys can send. I've already talked to Chris Johnson about this as well.
Okay.
And then we'll get it to Kelly that she put on your letterhead and send it off to Turk by January 31st. And then in that meantime, then we'll determine what would be a good method of, evaluation on these guys, so.
So,
And Turk might tell us no. but all you
Right,
do is
sure,
ask. So-
right.
so today, basically, we just need to act on allowing the chair to sign a letter that's drafted by you and county attorney's office to send to Turk.
Yep, we'll work with you guys on that too.
To,
Okay.
Draft it as well.
to petition for a
Sure.
different method.
And later we'll determine what method we want to use, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
Later, the method will be determined, right? It's not been determined
It
yet.
has not been determined yet, no, we're still looking at that yet. I've came up with some comparables and stuff to use for duplex, because a lot of these are all duplexes. So, there aren't any that about the same age you could use as comparables, but you can always adjust the age and square footage and determine that, come up with a value there too. So, and there's kind of a question about the constitutionality of this whole section 43,002. You know, you have a class of property that you're saying you can value differently than others, which the Constitution only gives that to ag land and not residential and commercial. So, it just, last year Lancaster County did this, and the projects really protested. Turk's like, no, Lancaster County can do this. And so there's been a big, not I want to say big push, but a little more light cast on these projects, and more assessors this year are looking at them. So, and hopefully there's a court case that'll take care of all this for us.
We're not saying which method we want to use yet. We just don't want to use
The one they're using.
the cost method or
And I would certainly work with you guys.
income-based method.
Income-based.
And I would work with you guys on that one, present some options to you, because if you're making the request, then I feel like you
Right.
should have some skin in
Well, it
that
has to
too.
come from the Board of Equalization, does
Exactly.
it not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions for Kurt this morning?
I would make that motion that you
Send that
stated
letter.
earlier. Did you write it down as, okay, I would make that motion.
Second it. Oh,
Okay.
we're always tied.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Kurt.
thanks.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our Board of Equalization meeting, so we are adjourned from them. We will, thank you. We will go back up to the Board Commissioner meeting. We've done the annual report, so next up is discuss and act on the Southeast Region interlocal agreement. Morning, Gary.
Good morning. Gary Peterson, Sewer, York County Emergency Manager. Years ago, the state divided emergency managers across state into regions. Sewer is both in the southeast region, there's 14 counties, basically in the north, south, and northeast. And they did this, we have a governance board, each emergency manager is on this governance board. We receive grant funds, which a lot of them go back to the state. It's just kind of we give it to you, give it back to us type of thing. There's really not much for equipment per se, so a lot of It used to be you get radios and stuff like that, we can't do that anymore. You have to develop a work plan. You have to be specific what you want in that work plan. We do a lot of training, I think, with the Southeast region. I'm gonna hold a 300 and 400 class here between the two counties. But basically, this interlocal describes our roles and responsibilities. We have to have a fiscal agent, which is a county that is a kind of pass-through from the state and federal funds. Kelly, you're welcome, and I didn't volunteer to be that fiscal agent. It has to go through the treasurer and the clerk, and it's a lot of extra work. So right now, Ozo County is the fiscal agent. But it kind of describes what's involved with that too, how they're responsible and what they're not responsible for. But the interlocal just gives us an outline of how to operate, so we're not getting in trouble.
Any questions, Gary, this morning?
And it has been to the county attorney.
Okay, yep.
And we have a resolution for this, and this, I believe,
There's a
That's the
signature
next.
page.
That's the next item,
Okay.
is the resolution.
okay.
But it does, all of our signatures need to be on this one, correct?
Yeah.
This is the signature page.
Right.
In order to keep doing what you're doing, we need to put our signatures on it, right?
Well, to be involved, with the Southeast region. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so this one here, we just need to just approve the interlocal
Right.
agreement.
Yep.
And I don't think it's for all of us to sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a signature.
This
page.
goes with this, that goes with that, okay.
Mhm.
That's where mine wasn't showing up the same, I guess. Okay,
motion to approve and sign the Southeast Region Interlocal Agreement.
thank you.
Second.
Ah,
I'll let Stan.
Let's do
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks,
yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, then next up is the resolution. Discuss and act on 2024 local emergency operations plan.
Yeah, each county in the state's required to have a local emergency operations plan. It used to be the state would provide us hard copies, provide them information, no longer did it. But they no longer doing that. They contracted with a company called Bold Planning, so everything's online now.
Okay.
You have to view it. But we're still required to do so-called revision every 5 years, and 2024 is our revision year for York and Sioux both. So we need to adopt the LEOP. And if we don't have a approved LEOP, then we're not eligible for the grant funds either.
Any questions of Gary on this one? This is by resolution.
Yes.
If there's no questions, I entertain and adopt a resolution to adopt the local emergency operations plan. When it says Board of York County Commissioners, I assume we all want to sign this one too.
Yeah, I don't know if there's, I think Kelly has to put her seal on one of them too.
Move to adopt the resolution, or
Thank you,
whatever it is.
Stan.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll have to sign this. I suppose it's fine if they sign.
Well, just a sec, this is off the subject, but is there any connection to this NRD litigation thing? Are you connected with that at all, or?
Yeah,
Okay, so,
well, each county is required to have a hazard mitigation plan too, and that's, years ago, we used to do each county did our own, and then, it would be about 8 years ago, almost 7 years ago, that we combined with the Upper Big Blue NRD. So York, Seward, Hamilton, and the Upper Big Blue NRD, we work on getting a revised hazard mitigation plan. And ours is due a year from this month to be completed. And so we asked public and private, you guys got invitations to attend, and get input on what disasters happen in our communities, what can we do to mitigate those disasters. And then, once we have an approved hazard mitigation plan, then you can apply for a hazard mitigation project, which it's a 75-25% cost share. So local government would be responsible for 25%. And we got a grant to hire a consultant to help us put this plan together. JO Consulting is that consultant. And so it's paid for 75%, and then the rating costs us divided up 4 ways: Upper Big Blue, York, Seward, and Hamilton. And we're keeping track of in-kind expenses too to help meet that 25% cost, so it'll be a little bit less yet than what normally is. But we're required to have a hazard mitigation plan, so
Who requires it?
the state.
It's not a federal thing, it's a state thing.
Well, it could be federal through the state. I don't know for sure, but it's a good thing to have. We've done grants before. We've tried to do grants. I think it's going to be a little better now. NEMA had some personnel changes, and I think the people they have in there now are really good to work with, from what I've heard about getting projects through.
So it says at least one representative from your jurisdictions needs to attend. So is that you, or is that
Well,
me?
they prefer not. They prefer to have a county board member, a city council member. They don't really want the emergency manager to represent. They want somebody from the county and the cities and the villages to attend. And each entity has to represent themselves, like the fire departments, they have to represent themselves too. Hospitals, university, health department. So it used to be, you could represent more than one, but they want everybody to, have one person representing themselves.
So back to the funding. It's 25% local. So would NRD be part of that?
Yeah,
They be 1/4,
Yep.
and then York County 1/4, and
Seward and Hamilton.
and Seward and Hamilton.
Yep.
Each pay 1/4 of that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and by doing it that way, it's over half of what it used to be, by doing it individually. Each individual doing it.
And this is a budgeted expense. I mean, we budget for this.
Like I say, with the in-kind, it should be pretty reasonable.
Okay, sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry I asked all these
No,
questions.
no, feel free to ask them anytime.
You have anything else?
Me? Nope.
Nope. Anybody else? Oh, it's sitting there. Okay, thanks, Gary.
Yep.
Okay, next up, discuss and act on reappointing Harvey Kime as highway superintendent.
I make a motion we do that.
What's that?
I make a motion we do
Thank you, Stan.
appoint him as
And I'll second it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Bear,
yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we have, it says fee reports. We don't have a committee report on there, but we can sure tell everybody what we've been doing, if we've been doing anything at all. Jack?
I have a safety committee meeting this afternoon, I think. And
You hope.
I hope.
Okay.
And we've got a whole new book to work on.
Oh, nervous. Okay. Is that everything, Jack?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Stan or Daniel?
I had a Blue Valley virtual meeting. Forgot what day it was, but it's interesting how many different things they're involved in. And I'm wondering if maybe they're involved in too many things, because it's just amazing. And they're involved with WIC and Head Start and food and housing. They do a lot of fixing of houses. It's amazing all the different activities they do have. And I visited the store, spent about an hour there just checking it out one day, and it's very nice and clean. And that they do get volunteers to work there, which is very nice. And they get all the food to York, and then it gets distributed by truck to these other communities, which I didn't know for sure. So I did that, and then tomorrow I have a 3-hour session with Region 5 at the Seward Hospital from 8 to 11, and they're going to teach us all about Region 5, I guess. So that's my activities, my committees.
Thank you.
And the roads, I met with Harb and told them what a great job they did this morning, and tried to console Ashley because she took a lot of nasty calls. So Dan and I tried to make her feel better a little bit. Told her how good while she painted the walls and things like that. Not much, but something.
There we go.
That's it.
Thank you. Dan?
Yeah, so I think along with everybody else, the winter weather has consumed a fair number of time and thought and phone calls. We did meet with Harvey. We addressed a few issues that had come up and tackling those as we need to. YCDC board met, the executive board met last week, and the full board meets today at noon. So projects going on there. Let's see, we have, so there will be a zoning meeting Thursday coming up here, and then I believe we have a NACO planning meeting on Friday, as York County will be hosting. So we'll be discussing that event in March, I believe, is it? That's what's been taking place in my world, I guess.
Okay, yeah, we do have the spring meeting that, there'll be a Zoom spring meeting. Try to get figured out what and how we're gonna run it. We also have chair, vice chair meeting in February for NACO. I don't know if you got that email
I
or
did
not.
not.
That's something that since John Cannon's been in charge, he's had us doing. And so that will be, I believe, the second week of February. Zoning meeting is coming up, as you stated, Thursday night. Hopefully, at that point in time, we will have some recommended zoning regs to come forward to adopt or look at us adopting.
All right.
And that being said, it looks like there were some letters went out to some land in the north, what do I say, central part of our county, that there's another one proposed that may be coming down the pipe. So that will be interesting. And I think we've seen ad campaign that we're really strict on our zoning rules, but yet now we have another group that wants to come in. So maybe the zoning rules aren't as strict as what we thought they were, and or at least some thought they were. So that'll be interesting how that proceeds forward. I don't know that that's been made public yet, but the letters went out public and the public's talking about it. So they're the ones that informed me about it. So we do need to get something, get ours. So hopefully, once we do get these recommendations in front of us, we'll, take it and go and get some in place. The last 2 weeks has been eventful. As I stated earlier, it's been busy, and hopefully we're ready for a little bit of slowdown, but I don't think our roads are gonna be, unless we get this
It'd be
snow pushed
awesome
back.
for a while.
Whether it's gonna be a mess.
The snow kind of took care of the ladies' problem with the White Rock.
Mhm.
No. Took care of everything. Took care of everything, there's no doubt about it. Anybody, Kelly, you have anything this morning? Okay. Vendor and payroll claims at this point in time.
I shouldn't forget about
I
that.
assume that everything is taken care of. We do have an added claim, and this is for the visitors promo fund. This is an added claim of $580. This is for the sign, as I'm reading it, that sits out by the Alda exit. It's the York
County,
yeah, Visit York
something,
County
something, yeah.
sign. I don't know if it was skipped or if Bob was out, didn't get it in on time, but this is something we do need to pay and add to the claims. As everybody looked through the claims, did you have any questions that maybe can answer? I know there was, I did have a couple myself, and one of them was out of the, I believe it was a 2360 fund, and that was that's a joint task force of our county attorney, I believe, PD, sheriff's office, state patrol, and Henderson PD, and then they award certain grants when people ask for stuff. You know, out of that is money that comes in basically through the drug world, right?
There is a portion of the statute, restitution is how it's framed, so that individuals that are trafficking commercial amounts of marijuana through the state of Nebraska without a tax stamp. And so I am able to follow through on charges and collecting on his tax stamp. So these are tax stamp restitution funds, a fund that the 5 agencies are able to use for particular services and projects.
So they award them and we approve them. So that one was in there. We did have a couple in the call center, and those I just wanted to be reminded what they were. The Motorola bill was our maintenance agreement that we pay, and then the CenturyLink, the Lumen one for 14.5 was a new radio install on the EZNet, the new system. So those were budgeted expenses in there too. Those are the only things that grab my attention unless somebody else.
Yeah, the Motorola one is a yearly thing.
Yeah, maintenance agreement. Yearly basis to ensure our radio network and equipment will always be up to date.
I was going to ask Harvey and I forgot, but it appears that we got the fence around the
I put
Or the fence.
the new
shop.
yard.
Yeah.
Is it
Right.
done?
Yeah. Well, we're paying for it, so I hope so.
Oh,
We're
I
paying
forgot
for
to. I forgot to ask Harvey about that this morning.
42 of it. Was that the
But
total
I
amount?
think it was.
Was that the total
Yeah.
amount? I couldn't remember exactly what it was. So.
I know they were close, and so I assumed that they were done.
Okay.
Harvey's pretty good to not present something unless it's completed.
we probably couldn't have seen it if we wanted to. Help
I
us
know,
out.
right? Yeah, exactly.
That snow, that fence is probably broken down by the snow right now.
So, anybody have anything else?
Well, what about this box here on that was damaged by the snowplow?
The outdoor box?
Yes. We're not bringing that up this week. This, okay.
No.
I haven't gotten one ordered yet. We're in the process. I've got a hold of Secretary of State because there's the one that purchased that for us, and it's ours. So I did send it off to Burma to see if they can give us any money for it. But
Insurance.
I did get the invoice from the Secretary of State where they purchased it. And I have payroll looking into that right now to get another one for them.
Will insurance help us with that?
We'll have
Hopefully.
Heard back from them.
we'll have a deductible if they do.
Sounds awful.
I
Sounds
may
pretty high price.
have had a heart attack when I first looked at
Yeah,
it.
same here.
And I was like, it's like, okay, that's not just one.
I I think we need one that bad.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say they're gonna have to bring it in.
Any other? So we'll need a motion to approve with the added claim then.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments?
With the additional thing.
Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
and Overmark.
Yes. We are at the end. Do you have anything else? We are adjourned.